Hey, welcome to the show. Thank you for being on, Patrick. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, where are you in the world? You're in New Mexico.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, and you're a professional hot air balloon pilot.
That's questionable about the professional part.
Yeah,
I'm a private pilot.
You're a private pilot. Okay, so there's two flavors of hot air balloon pilot, and what are those two flavors?
Private and commercial.
Okay, and what are the difference? What's the difference?
Private pilot can't take money for flights. It's almost like being a hobbyist drone pilot.
Interesting.
Can you take tips?
So,
tips?
I can take money for the drive out.
That's a good workaround.
But not for the. Yes, it's all that FAA semantic stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. We have fun.
How often do you fly, and how hard is it to become a hot air balloon pilot? What kind of training? What is the FAA license, the certification that you need?
It's exactly like a fixed wing airplane. So you have to do the hours, you have to do the practical test, you have to do the written test, you have to go out and show what you can do, and that's the parameters for it for private and the parameters for commercial are both different. So it's convoluted and it takes a long time to explain, but it's about the same as a fixed wing.
How many hot air balloon pilots are there in the United States?
Oh my gosh, in the United States, thousands, I would say. I'll probably get a hit on that. I'm not exactly sure, but there's so many.
There's a lot. And what are the best places to fly a hot air balloon? And what are some of the worst places?
Best place is Albuquerque, New Mexico. We can fly year-round here. That's the big draw on why there's so many balloons in Albuquerque, is because we can fly year-round. So the temperature goes up, it means less lift you can take up. So this is good. Bad place would be anywhere that is very humid and very crowded with trees or buildings or power lines and things like that.
Okay, but does the weather matter, like hot or cold? Can you fly on a snowy day or no?
Oh, you can fly. The colder it is, the more you can lift. So I've got two balloons. One's a 69,000 cubic foot balloon. It's a racer, and the other one is a 90,000 cubic foot balloon. Pretty big. Okay. So the one you're seeing on the screen is a 90,000 cubic foot balloon. So 90,000 feet at 60 degrees, I could probably take 1,700 pounds. That's not including the equipment. And I can fly to 6,000 feet at 220 degrees because we have limitations on how much that envelope can take before it melts.
Okay, and by the way, just a quick aside, these girls here are having a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and they're on their freaking phones.
Those are my nieces, and they're on their phones.
Okay, so it's like it's just the balloon again. I'm in the balloon again.
Well, they've been around them so often that it is kind of they're jaded by now.
Have you had passengers that are just mostly into their phones and on their cameras and not really paying attention to the wonderfulness of?
I myself have not. My son has had people that have been heads down, didn't look at anything, were bored, wanted to get out. And it's like, yeah, well, we're about 1,000 feet up, so getting out is a limitation. So
how much piloting can you do? And how much piloting can you do? And with all those other balloons, do you ever bump into another balloon?
Oh, yeah. Bumping is called kissing if you do it lightly. It's hugging if you're sitting there against them. And then we usually ask you to get a room after that.
Well, okay. What was the question, Ken?
I was wondering, so is there what's the cap of altitude that these typically fly?
Myself, I use the altitude, whatever altitude I can get to get where I need to go, because it's sailing in 3 dimensions. That's what hot air ballooning is. So you're going to grab and try and find a wind that's going the direction you want. And then you adjust your altitude depending on where that wind is. So if I wanted to go, so you'll see right here, I'm heading south in this video. Now I've just come up and I'm now going north.
So you're just controlling up and down. That's it.
That's all you got control for. I do have turning vents on this balloon, which allow me to rotate, but that's all it does. It doesn't allow me to change the direction.
Can you put a little a fan on there and do that? Can you do that?
Now, amazingly, there is a guy out of Europe that has a fan, electric fan on his. It'll allow you to move a little bit, but the wind's on a 90. You're talking a huge sail. The winds are gonna push you where it wants to push you. So.
And so you're just landing wherever it's going to be.
Yeah, you're trying to find a landing spot that for every mile an hour you're going, you have to have 100 feet in front of you. Now you can lawn dart yourself if you want to,
right?
And it's been done, and I've done it, but it's a little bit hard on people.
And is this basket? Is this clear on the bottom? You can see through it.
This one right here is not. I do have an acrylic. I have one of the only acrylic floor baskets in the world.
Oh wow!
So,
okay.
This system you're seeing right now is a Lindstrand. Like vehicles, you have different manufacturers. Lindstrand are like, I don't know, Maserati of the ballooning world. They have a great build. Their systems are fantastic. The unit you're seeing right now is built for safety. So you see the dual burners at the top?
Yeah.
Both of those, each one of those puts out 33 million BTU.
Good Lord. Have you ever just played with your burner in the backyard? Like just, fire up the grill.
Yeah, we have a tendency to test things out a lot. And you don't want to lose your burner in the sky. So that's why there's two there. And so I can separate. If I lose a power plant, I can continue to go on the other one.
How much is a burner?
Oh, well, they're running about 12,000 right now.
Good Lord, really?
Yeah,
wow.
My racer, a little 69 racer, cost me its retail 42,000.
So this is, this is a very specialized. And
well, now that I've said that, I'm going to tell you that the balloon that I love the most, or I fly the most, is an experimental. It was built in a guy's garage. It cost me $4,000, and it is fantastic. You can buy balloons for a couple $1,000s that are airworthy, and they have to be airworthy. They have to go through the annuals and everything, and you can fly them. Now, you were talking about flying like by yourself, and they have hoppers. You attach a propane tank to your backside, and you have a burner overhead, and you just go fly by yourself with your little feet dangling.
Man, I have so many questions. We were talking very briefly about the possibility of me flying an FPV quad from the basket, and you said you get to 400 feet very quickly.
Yes.
So
yeah, our rules are we have to get to 500 feet over unpopulated areas and 1,000 overpopulated. That's the rule. But we're a hot air balloon, and I have to land. So if I have to land, I have to come down, which means that I can start my descent into a landing zone anytime I need to, because it's a hot air balloon.
Right,
it can
so
land anywhere.
Land anywhere you want. And by the way, if there's any questions for Patrick in the chat, Ken, will you bring those to my attention?
Actually, there is one.
Yep.
Mr. FPV asks, Patrick, will you come to the Centralia, Illinois Balloon Fest?
Oh, I'd love to. I would love to. Next month is the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. It'll be plus 600 plus. That was the video clip from 2 years ago that you saw. 600 plus balloons taking off. It's going to be crazy.
Wow. I mean, the balloon community must be just fun to be a part of, isn't it?
It's a tight-knit kind of a family thing. You get to be friends with people, and then you get to be kind of family friends, and then you start flying together. And then you continue to do that, and you get old like I am.
So yeah. I got to ask, what's the safety like on these balloons? Because you always see them. I never hear anything bad about it, but it's such a niche thing. What's the safety like on one of these balloons?
I'll tell you what I've been told not to tell anybody.
Okay.
Because we have to do a briefing before. There's 2 briefings prior to me taking anybody, and I've been told not to say that you can die when you get in.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
because
anytime you go up in the air, you have a chance of coming down faster than you expected.
You can walk across the street and die, but the thing is that you have to understand that it is a dangerous sport. No brakes, no nothing. You come down, you're at the mercy of the wind. You can take off in 5 miles an hour and come up to 15 miles an hour, and things get interesting because it's like having the weight of a Mack truck with no brakes.
What's the highest you're allowed to go?
Oh, past 15, 14,999 with oxygen for the pilot.
Oh, so is that, I don't even know, is that where the need for oxygen begins at 15?
It is for a pilot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going up there. Now, there are long jumpers, the guys that took off from Japan and flew all the way to the Mexican coast. They jumped up in that air. The gas balloon races that they do all over the place, they use oxygen all the time. It's just, I honestly enjoy flying for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Chasing rabbits is what I really like doing, which means getting low in the ground out on the bases, and you're flying with the undulations of the hills.
Right, and you get that sense of speed. That's like proximity flying for FPV flyers.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's just stay low.
Right, but
Well,
then
and that's what everybody comes up and says, oh, I don't want to get in a balloon because you're going to go up in the sky and we may fall out. Well, you're not going to fall any faster than a parachute would fall. Even if I lost all my power, we're going down the same speed as a parachute.
right, and
that
you
seems
have
okay.
to. There is, I mean, there's a, and this is where the skill comes in. Is you have to anticipate the lag between giving it the beans and it actually doing what you instructed it to do. How much time is there that, and you've gotten used to it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, well then this is what makes Fiesta really interesting because we have a lot of people from all over the world that come to this thing, and we're at 5,200 feet. So at 5,200 feet, density altitude creates or acts on the balloon. Really, it slows everything down. So I consider a 7-second lag to everything. So when you're flying, you hit the burner, you're not going to see that heat react or make the balloon react for 7 seconds. And that's the home built experimental envelope you're seeing there.
Oh, okay. And that's
So
what
it's all Albuquerque right here, right?
This is Rio Rancho. It's just north of Albuquerque. It's an open space. It's easier to fly there. We don't like to fly. We've now been restricted not to fly in Class C.
How far is Albuquerque from Austin there, Ken?
Oh, I don't know,
Not very
but yeah,
far.
right. We could zip up there, couldn't we, Ken?
We could. We could just drive over there and,
Do it.
freaking go flying, man. I'm just thinking.
I
What are you
will-
doing in
else do we
September?
I will take you up in a minute.
What are you doing in November?
Hey, let's go.
Heck yeah, man. By the way, are those like asbestos cords or something, like heat resistant? Because I'm always worried, like, you're going to burn those little strings.
So on this balloon, they're made out of metal. They're metal stranded cables.
Oh,
But
okay.
there are my racer has Kevlar cables. This one, if you were to look at this balloon and felt it and looked at the way it's constructed, you'd freak out because it seems so minimal compared to a normal balloon. Normal balloon load tapes are an inch thick, and a load tape is what goes from the bottom of the throat, what you're seeing it there, and it goes to the top of the balloon, and that holds the fabric together. So it's almost like a cage. And those load tapes are really strong. The load tapes on that balloon are maybe a 1/4 inch thick.
Okay.
But that balloon right there is flown all over the world pretty much, and it's an amazing system. That unit right there is super ultra light. That's called Soarcoat. It's pretty cool.
Sort of reminds me of Soarin'.
Yeah.
How
So
how
we do
much
not like thermals whatsoever?
how much does a balloon without how much does it weigh? Just the envelope itself?
So the envelope itself, that one right there is 145 pounds. My racer, which is smaller, weighs 232 pounds because of the fabric. So that one's Soarcoat. It's really super light. The racer is called Diamond Weave, and it's like armor.
And I think somebody asked in the chat before, have you ever intentionally dipped it in water?
Splash and dash, you bet, all the time, any chance.
What's that called? Splash and dash?
Splash and dash,
Yeah.
or mud and thud if you hit mud.
Here's another good question for you. Are most balloonists private pilots? Does that mean you have to have a Part 61 pilot land? Any advantage becoming a balloonist? And have you taken any skydivers on the balloon?
Oh, good
Okay.
question.
Getting my drone license was cake. Once you have the pilot's license,
Yeah.
it's just a walk-on.
Right.
Using Ken and also his guru of Part 107 training helped me out a lot. It was really easy to get to. Skydivers, you can do it. I have not done it. I have friends that do it all the time, and it's a hoot. To me, you're going up, and the issues with that is you're dumping 250 pounds off the side. So the balloon's going to do what? It's going to go screaming up into the sky. So you have to put it in somewhat of a terminal descent and then throw your people out.
Now, when I see old-fashioned balloons, I'm sure these purists that still have those, like old-fashioned looking balloons, or is that legal to do? The way they used to build balloons back in the Dizay, right? Are there purists like that still do that? Are they experimental?
There are some people that still have old ones. The oldest, I think, are Picards, but the lifetime of the fabric is only like 400 hours.
Okay.
So once you get to 400 hours, it becomes porous, and then you can't hold air, and that's it.
I've seen balloons that have ballast. Do you use ballast? What's the story with that?
Well, that would be you, Ken.
Oh, right. So if you need to go up real fast, I just jump out.
So most of the gas balloons use ballast. We don't. We just expel air out of the top of. There's a large vent on the top of the balloon called the crown, and so when we want to come down, we pull the red line, and that's attached to the crown, and we descend.
Okay, maybe you can tell people who are watching that don't know the difference between a hot air balloon and a gas-filled balloon. It's very simple.
Gas balloons are full of helium or hydrogen or both. They're attached with massive amounts of ballast bags, and they're for they're competition long jumpers. They go out and they are trying to get distance. They just had one a couple months ago in Europe, and the amazing amount of time those guys were in the air, and that's what the rule is how long can you stay in the air.
And they're just usually just neutrally buoyant, right? And they use the ballast to go up and down, or some kind of propellers.
No, they calculate how much the system weighs to go, and they get the gas to buoyancy, and then once they've done that, they drop the ballast to go and maneuver. So, but that's another part of the competition is you're going to calculate how much ballast you've got, and part of that ballast is whatever you've eaten and what have you processed through that flight.
Nice.
So that's all ballast.
Have you ever piloted a gas-filled balloon?
No.
No.
I have many friends that do. They love it. Me personally, I like indoor services. So,
right. Know. So when we come visit you, because the tag team of Ken and Ken, we're going to come up there. How long, when you take off, how long do you have before you get to 400 feet? How long?
Oh gosh, in the racer I can do it real quick within seconds.
Oh really?
The racers are. Now, I don't have a designer thing to show you, but a racer looks like an egg or almost like a football. And that's created so you can go up and down fast. So I can get up and down 1,600 feet a minute is something on the max.
Okay, what's the slowest you can do it?
Yeah, let's take it a little slower.
Really slow.
You can? Okay, because...
let's break it in easy.
Right, because what I'd like to do
you're never going to notice it, because even if we go up at 1,600 feet a minute, you really don't notice it. You get that feeling that, you know how you do when you get one of those speed elevators, your stomach drops out.
Right.
Yeah, well, in the racer, you're going to feel a lot of that.
Okay, because what I'd like to do is if, and you say it's okay with the FAA to fly a quad from the basket of a drone, or did you check and it's not? It's not, is it?
I checked, and there's the definition. There's the rulings.
The rules are sort of weird.
It's FAA speak. It's unless or except.
It's and or if this.
That's right. Definition of sparsely populated. So, in essence, if you want to go out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, yeah, you can do it.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm in the basket with you.
How would you land that?
I got it. You're talking about the drone, right? I got it. I got it all planned out. Since I talked to you, I drew up plans, man.
Oh, Jesus.
I got schematics. I want to do it. Right.
I was just thinking, like, taking off would probably be easy, or you could just like throw the drone out and arm it, and be like, hey.
No. We're on the ground. Me and you, Ken, and Patrick, right? Me and Patrick are in the balloon. Drone's on the ground. I'm ready. As soon as the balloon takes off, I'm flying, right?
Okay.
And then once we get up to 400 feet, which is the point where I should probably stop, then I just land the drone and you unhook the battery and we're done. And then we switch. Then you do it.
Okay.
Right? How's that for a plan? You like that, Patrick?
I'm trying to think of where we could go to do that. That would have to be out in the middle of nowhere, though.
We would have to be somewhere in the middle of nowhere to make it legal, obviously.
Yeah, sparsely populated.
The rule is, according to them, says densely populated density of 20 people on a 10-acre site can be considered sparsely populated.
Okay, so Wyoming.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I have friends all over the United States, and they all have balloons, and they would love to take you up.
Oh, heck yeah.
Probably without the drone, though.
Now you can fly around the balloon if you look at the FAA's definition of that. You can fly around the balloon. You just can't fly from it, Ken. So if you wanted to get shots of the balloon, you just can't fly from it. That's what I'm reading here. And I also see where, like, thousands of pilots violated the TFR for the Fiesta.
Oh, and that's another thing that we have to mention, and I'm sure you want to mention this too, Patrick, is don't be a Yahoo and just show up to one of these balloon conventions and start flying your drone, right?
That's correct. Don't if you go in Albuquerque and do it, you're they're going to find you. They pinpointed everybody that flew a drone illegally in 2019. They know where they are. They know where they took off from. The trackers they have on the field are amazing, and there's a lot of police. There's a lot of FBI on that field. So, but little events. There's nothing saying you can't go to the event director and say, I have a drone. I want to be outside the area, upwind of wherever you're at, and want to get some video. And he'll check with the pilots. And if the pilots are okay with it, the issue is with flying into or around or through multiple balloons, because then you're distracting the pilots.
Right,
so,
right. What's this?
Most of the time, if you got a drone and you want to go out and fly, videotape balloons, walk up, go find the pilot.
Yeah, it's always polite to tell them what, because nobody wants to be surprised by a drone coming up on them when you're in a balloon doing stuff.
Yeah, I do that myself. They all know me, but I still walk with my drone and walk to every pilot that I'm going to be around and say, okay, do you mind? And if they do, I don't go near them. But 90% of them have said, yeah, no problem. So,
if we have any more questions, Ken, let me know. But I want to ask you, what's the strangest place you've ever landed?
Strangest place I've ever landed. Oh, power lines.
Oh, you have gotten tangled in power lines.
I have hit power lines before.
And can't you see them coming?
No, honestly, you can't.
Oh, you can't.
Because they're usually buried in trees. So you're walking around, you're flying into space. You can see the poles, but the power lines are almost invisible to see.
Okay.
So when you're coming in for a landing and you're going, oh, there's 2 trees. I'll go between the trees and I'll land in that field right behind it. And no.
So what happens when you go into a power line? Oh my God, what happens?
You follow your instruction, your training, and you rip the top out of your balloon and you let it land. So what I did is I ripped it out, but now I had an Aerostar at the time. I had a 24-foot hole in the top of my balloon and it wouldn't come down. So I was over a tarmac parking lot, and that caused there to be a heat balloon just right there, enough to keep me out of my crew's hands. And the power lines were just past it, and it pushed me gently into them. And I had to tell my crew, step back, don't touch anything. And it laid over them. And the power company was there, but they couldn't do anything. And then, we had also just gotten in the river, so we were about two foot of water wet.
That's no good. Did you?
So we just
worst case scenario.
Yeah, it was bad. But training is get to the bottom of the basket, stay there. And we did, and the voltage came around us, and we felt it, but no effect whatsoever. But that's probably the most picture perfect way to hit power lines if you're going to do it.
Yeah, because I think we've all seen that viral video of the balloon hitting the power lines out in the middle of nowhere, and then the sparks, and then it fell because it fried the ropes or whatever.
Power lines are one rough. They're like bandsaws, so they're going to slice right through them, and that's the worst place. The statement is when in doubt, rip it out. So you rip your top of your balloon out, you make that thing into a sausage, and you drop to the ground. If the fabric, because it's easier to survive the broken ankle than it is the electrocution.
I was going to say that when in doubt, rip it out is also my policy for dating. Sorry, had to get it out there. Sorry. Thank you. I'm here all week. Try the veal. Ken.
See, both of you guys would fit right in with our community. We have fighter pilots, we have teachers, we have scientists, we have everybody and anybody that flies balloons.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. It's been one of my dreams. I actually would love to do this. Cluster balloons.
Okay.
Have you ever done that? And do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. They did you remember the Up movie?
Oh yeah. That's not what inspired me though. I wanted to do this
out in Arizona.
Oh,
they went and did a reenactment of that in Arizona. They hooked up a fake house, a bunch of cluster balloons, and went cruising.
What I'd like to do is just get a harness, strap a bunch to me to make myself neutrally buoyant, and then just like leap over houses.
So you don't even need a license for that, Ken.
You don't?
You do not.
What do you need? Just balls of steel and a lot of balloons?
Oh, don't encourage it.
Yeah. There are guys out. Out here.
Don't tell me that.
Those, you know your roll around trash carts?
Yeah.
They'll get those, hook cables to them, hook balloons to them, and go fly. And it's legal.
So what Lawn Chair Larry did was legal? I think he went too high though. Remember Lawn Chair Larry?
He went too high.
For people who don't know,
how do we keep it low? How can we keep it low and like moderately dangerous?
Well, I'll tell you. Now, Ken, do you know Lawn Chair Larry? Have you heard the legend?
I've heard the legend of Lawn Chair Larry.
Okay, this happened in the 70s, didn't it? I believe, right?
Yeah,
Patrick? Okay.
I think you're right.
This dude just got a bunch of regular like party balloons and attached them to his lawn chair, but he thought ahead. He had a plan. If he got too high, he brought a BB gun with him, and he would just shoot out a couple balloons. And he also brought a radio, like a CB radio, with him. But a couple things he didn't realize is that he ended up in a major flight path, and it also got cold up there. And didn't he drop his BB gun? I hope he
Probably.
did. He dropped his radio, I know, but look up Lawn Chair Larry. It was amazing, but yeah, I would love to do that. I don't want to go up. I just want to be neutrally buoyant so that I can I got superpowers. I can jump over. Let me know in the chat. Would you be interested in doing that? I would love to do that.
You would love a hopper would be just for you because you just attach it. It's a little seat, and you can do that nice little floaty.
Oh,
I don't know what you would call it.
With a single little hot air balloon.
It's a little tiny. It's like a 54,000 cubic foot, 40,000 cubic foot. It's a tank and a burner above you, and you just float away. There's a bunch of videos on the internet on YouTube that show some of those. And
Yes.
it's pretty fun.
Alexis says, "Heck yes, she's a man pilot as well."
It's cool. It's a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Alexis, if you buy the balloons, I'll bring the harness, baby. You and me, huh? We'll balloon it up. You and me.
This is adult skate, right?
Yeah, this is adult skate. If there's anybody else that has any questions for Patrick, do you have any more questions, Ken? In there?
No, I'm ready to go, man. Like I said, I'm looking at how do I get out to Albuquerque as fast as we can.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
when you do get out, come out for multiple days because if the weather sucks, I'm not going to fly you.
No, and I wouldn't want to be flown if the weather sucks. I'm looking I've never been in a hot air balloon. Always been curious with it. But it's like I have a fear of heights. Believe it or not, I have a fear of heights. But I think it's doing those things sort of conquer those unnerving feelings.
That's what his shrink says.
I'm afraid of heights myself. The only reason I can do it is because I'm in control. When I fly.
That you said something that resonates. That's the same reason why I have a fear of flying on planes because I'm not the one piloting it.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But if there's trouble, Ken, if you're on Delta going to Vegas one day and there's trouble and the people go, "Is there anybody here that can fly this plane?" You'd be like, "Me, I'm a drone pilot. Let me take the wheel. Let me take the yoke." Yeah. One more question before we let you go, sir.
Sure.
And we were talking about this too. You said that there's a huge difference between a tethered balloon ride and a free balloon ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tethered balloon ride, you're tethered to the ground, and you're going to go up only as far as the tethers go, and you're there.
Yeah.
Free flight, you're with the wind. It's horribly, horribly serene until the burner kicks off, but it's almost indescribable the effect you are because you're flying at the wind speed.
Right, because if you're on the ground and it's windy, you get up there, you're just with the wind, part of the wind, and that's it. It's all still, and oh man, I can't. Ken, we gotta go. Ken.
No, I know. One more question, and I'll let it go because it's Chris Hope.
Sure. Yeah.
Longview, Texas. Do you get out there for the Great Balloon Race in Longview?
I have not done it, but I've been asked. There's a couple of rallies that go on. There's one here in Gallup in December. It's called the Red Rock Rally. Also, it's in the park there, and it's jumping the fingers of the rocks.
Okay.
So you're going over one mountain and down the other side.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd love.
Oh, I want to jump over a mountain.
You can jump.
Cool. It is really cool.
I want to do it. So. Awesome.
I really like flying low. Anyways, the hardest thing for a balloon pilot to do is fly at 2 feet and land. So landing is really hard.
All right.
During the instructions and the training, most people fail their tests because they can't land.
Oh, okay.
That was Ken and I learning how to fly FPV. We had a hard time.
Yeah.
You guys can keep the FPV. My little GPS drone, I can deal with that. I can't. FPV just makes me sick.
Well,
I watch the videos and I'm like, oh no.
I think you would like it. We'll teach you how to FPV. You teach us how to balloon.
All right. Yeah,
all right. That's a deal.
Matter of fact, if you come at a specific time, my son will be here, and he's a commercial pilot, and he is an amazing instructor.
Excellent.
And you can get an hour.
Sounds like a plan, man. Thank you
All
so
right.
very much for your time, sir. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Really do appreciate it. All right.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Chando, balloon pilot extraordinaire. Thank you, sir. All right.